Ladies and gentlemen, ATV Productions would like to welcome you to Tea Time with Aladdin. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year's Eve. Let me just go ahead and say it has been a interesting year as well as an interesting journey for all of us together. I'm very happy that, for those of you who are listening, I'm hoping that you guys were able to gather up some parts of your year and turn it into something good. Unfortunately, it hasn't really been the best year. But we'll talk about all that stuff down the road. But let's just talk about today. It's the 31st. It's the last day of December. I'm sure everyone's getting ready to go crazy in their house. It's Thursday. It's a beautiful morning today, right? I'm currently sipping on some nice ginger lemon tea, homemade, of course. And I've been slacking on advertising the tea lately, which I'm very, very sorry. I've noticed it. I was checking back a couple episodes and I was like, damn. I was like, I haven't talked about any of the tea that I'm drinking. And I was like, the tea time aspect has essentially just died. But no, we're going to go back to the tea. And it's, a nice cup of tea. It's super cold here. And there's nothing more enjoyable than having a nice hot tea in the morning when it's freaking freezing outside. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the cold because I've missed the cold. I've been on an island for a year, trapped, burning. So I need this. I need this. But it's also nice. It's a different experience when you have like hot cocoa and warm tea in a cold place compared to drinking hot cocoa and warm tea on an island or somewhere where it's like hot all the time. People in Florida and California, I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's a good time all around. But if you guys, put some ginger and some tea and a little bit of honey, oh, your tea will literally make you feel amazing. Not to mention, I'm like overdoing it on the tea right now because I was outside changing my car battery for hours last night. I wanted to hurry up and change it now so I could drive today and get my last minute errands done, as well as do a couple of trips before the year ends. But I want to go ahead and talk about some good news here. I want to thank all of you again for listening to the show always and forever. For the recent followers that we gained, I couldn't be like more ecstatic to see the results and like who's listening in, where everyone's coming from. So I'm going to go ahead and do my yearly recap of where I am getting the bulk of my listeners, some stats that I've, acquired, right? In the United States, which thank you guys for listening. I have people in Michigan, Ohio, Texas, California, Washington, Florida, Jersey, Colorado, and Illinois. So thank you guys for listening. You guys are truly my heroes. And I am happy that you guys are enjoying the show. And again, as I express to everybody, please subscribe to the show, share the show, make sure more people are listening to it because I hope that what I have to say is semi important or you just enjoy listening to my voice because somebody has to. But thank you for the people in the States. But now let's go outside of the States, right? Because I think you guys are truly the ones that like inspire me the most. France, you guys are the real deal. I mean, there's been a huge population of listeners from France, and it actually blew every other country out of the water. And I would attempt to name all of these cities, but I would only do shame, and you guys would definitely judge me. And I'm not trying to go for that. But we also got listeners in Russia, Antigua and Barbuda. Shout out to the island that I've lived on. Canada, UK, New Zealand, Germany, Taiwan, even Switzerland and Palestine. Honestly, altogether, I couldn't have been happier with that, and I'm thankful for you guys. Please continue to share. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. I hope you guys are sipping on tea with me this morning, and I hope you guys continue to be sipping on tea for as long as you listen to the show, or when you're just not listening to me, you're just shit talking all the coffee drinkers out there because they don't, they deserve to be recognized as drinking garbage every day. Also, a fun statistic, I have more female listeners now than male listeners. There's a 52% population of females compared to males, which just recently occurred, and I'm super content with that. It's super awesome. I'm happy to hear that females are also enjoying my show because, I don't want to gear this just towards men. I want this to be I want this for everyone. This is a united front. So I'm very pleased to see that result. Let's see, age-wise, age demographic. So we definitely have an increase in the 23 to 27, which makes sense. But I also got people in their, 18, 20s. I got late 20s, 30s, pretty much every age group. But you know who the real heroes are? The 60 and up. I want to know you guys. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys are doing, how much tea you drink, because you probably could drink me out the water. But that's just some of the stuff that I've gathered, and I'm very pleased at the least to say that. So thank you guys for listening. It means the world to me. So thank you, and I'm happy that we get to enjoy the last episode of the year together. This is a staple because this is the last episode of the season, and everything is changing for the next episodes, next season of show, for me, and then as well as for you guys. So I'm hopefully nothing too crazy, but just enough to get you guys huh, I like what he did there. Because if you hate it, well, then I'm fucked. I'm screwed. Pardon the language. I'm going to try to keep it a little cleaner today because I don't need to use profanity. It's also another thing that my mom was talking shit to me last night. She's like, oh my God, Aladdin. She's like, why do you keep saying the F word? I was like, damn. I was like, do I really say it that often? It's little things like that. Once someone puts it in hindsight for you, you're just like, damn, I got to stop. So hopefully that'll change. Another huge shout out goes out to all the musicians out there. I want to thank you all again for letting me play your music on the show. I know I've spoken to you and I've already thanked you guys personally, but I can't thank you enough because your music is literally one of the things that gets me through the day, through the show, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same way at some point. Unless you guys hate the music, well then I'm so sorry. But no, honestly, thank you guys. Your music is what drives me half the time, and I look forward to having more of your music, more of the artists coming into the next year because I really want a big portion of the show to be focused on you guys. And like I said, I have a couple of interviews going on and I am ready to get them on the road for you guys. Not to mention for the show, please guys, get ready to stay tuned for TeaTime with Aladdin going on YouTube. So that is another great transition. So that is something to keep your eyes peeled out for, as well as what else was I about to say? Oh yeah, I got a new logo. You guys will be seeing that very soon. Once tomorrow hits, the new logo goes up. Everything is coming. I got a lot of good stuff coming in, so I'm very excited, very excited. Today we're gonna just reflect, right? Today's episode is truly a reflection. 2020 has been a rough year. Believe it or not, I've looked into a lot of things and worldwide it has been a rough year. There isn't really much good to say. So let me just go ahead and state that our first topic for the day was supposed to be a yearly recap, right? Now, unfortunately, we were locked up for a good chunk of the year, so there isn't really much that occurred during the year. And even when I did find some good things, it really wasn't it's hard to explain because the things that I found were good things. But to be completely honest with you, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say there's 5 solid things that happened. Oh, maybe 7, but there's some things that I'm including in today's topic that I didn't want to include because I felt that we already know about it. It's been going on. It's still going on, and it isn't something we should celebrate yet because I feel like the job has not been completed and there's still much work that needs to be move along forward. But a lot of the stuff that it stemmed from is from the events that occurred this year. But we're going to go ahead and do topic 1, right? So topic 1 for our year recap talks about the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? I'm going to go ahead and just start off with the bad because there was more bad than there was good. And I'm not going to talk strictly about the coronavirus because we all know how bad the coronavirus is. It's a piece of shit. It's literally haunted our lands. It's wasted everything for us. But a lot of the stuff that you see aside from coronavirus is really it's important to know because it's nice to see that there's other countries, other worlds outside of our own that are struggling, and not just in related to coronavirus, politically and crime wise. There's so many issues going on in the world that a lot of people tend to overlook, or we always look at our own world being the most, we're very ethnocentric. The world revolves around your world, which obviously in the moment, yes, that's how it's going to seem and how it's appearing. But in reality, you really have to sympathize with other people because they're definitely going through the same thing. Everyone else is going through the coronavirus too, not to mention all the other shit that goes on in our world. It's definitely something that we just need to pay attention to, and we have to acknowledge as well as adopt. I mean, that's a total bias notion right there, because you don't actually have to adopt it. But I feel like if you care about the matters and the issues that occur in the United States, then the same issues that occur elsewhere should apply to you as well. If we're fighting for freedom and somebody else in another country, let's go ahead and just say Colombia, right? Because they're on the list, is fighting for independent or freedom. Wouldn't you want to join them? Wouldn't you want to support them? Wouldn't you want to back them? If you don't, then essentially you're saying screw their freedom. As long as I have freedom, I have freedom. So it's kind of something like that, right? I feel like you have to support other countries and their political endeavors. If you don't, then you're just being a hypocrite. And when the time comes, look what's going to happen. They're not going to do the same for you. And I feel like there's that really ugly line between not supporting a cause and then when you expect someone to support you back, you're just like, oh, well, if they don't support me, then it's not American kind of thing. People do that. It makes me sick. But we're just going to continue on, right? So, the bad, right? Let me talk about some of the bad things because there was a lot. And of course, I've limited this list. I've limited all the list. A lot of bad stuff happened this year. And to start it off, we're going to go ahead and talk about Iran, right? Iran launched a missile on a Ukrainian air flight. There were some Canadians as well as some Ukrainians on there. And essentially, it sparked a war, right? And go figure, a random missile just comes out of the sky and hits an airplane full of people. 177, I believe, to be exact. There was riots that broke out in Venezuela because they're trying to overthrow their government. Obviously, if you have a corrupt government, then you're going to try to rebel against it. But there was a lot of issues going on in Venezuela. Of course, I'm not going to get into the full gritty details of every event with you guys. I would hope for you guys to look into it yourself. But this is just some of the things that I've read. Human rights advocates out in Colombia have been getting killed. I believe there were reports of 10 activists who were killed, and it was publicized. What isn't that something that's so fucked up? Again, language, I'm sorry. But it's still crazy that you have people getting killed. I mean, you have it here. Look at the BLM protests. You literally have people getting killed because they're advocating for human rights. And when you hear stuff like that, to see that people are trying to fight for better equality, for equality, for better living conditions, better just government control, and we go out and we kill these people. Tell me, where is the humanity when stuff like that? But then you go aside from Colombia, you talk about like the riots that happen in, again, trying to overthrow the government in Lebanon. That's another huge one. Let's just say, as a whole, there's a lot of governmental overthrow. I mean, there was countries, literally countries. And it's funny to me that in a time like this, it really opens your eyes because coronavirus, there were so many different ways it was being handled from left and right, every angle, right? Different countries. And you see that no one had anything in place. But at the same time, aside from that, it really opened the doors, or maybe not the doors, but it opened the window for everyone's line of sight to see what was actually going on government wise. And you see all those, the civil war going on in Yemen. You see there was a fuel spill out in Russia, but you also see the civil rights in Venezuela, Colombia. I mean, there was one in Thailand, India, Pakistan. I mean, I can't. There was so much. Literally, headline after headline, all I could see was government overthrowing. And it literally just blew me away. So, it really makes you think about things that everyone advertises, especially a lot of the places that they were talking about were like touristy places where this was happening, or, this is the best place to vacation to. But in reality, there's so much shit going on that these people are not healthy. The people living there are not healthy. They're not happy. Something that we should all pay attention to in the future, as well as read about, because it really hurts when you hear, Colombia, Venezuela, Yemen, Syria, Turkey, Ukraine, all these places. Yeah, we have a lot of shit going on in the United States too, but these are countries that don't have it as easy as we do. Something that we should think about, we should try to advocate for, and so on. Now, aside from all the governmental issues, we even have issues with job owners, especially independent businesses and owners. I was supposed to look into how many independent owners, businesses were lost during the whole issue, the breakdown, but I didn't get those numbers. However, another thing that I did read in the New York Times actually was how the government shutdown was also an attack on immigrants, which is a great point because you look at the independent owners, the majority of these independent owners are immigrants, or at least statistically speaking, they are immigrants, right? Now, if you look at it from a standpoint where they stop working, which we all did, they're the ones who are going to hurt the most. Pretty much any independent owner, whether you're an immigrant or not. But they were talking about it. It was interesting because they were focusing on like the New York street vendors, right? Now, New York street vendors, they're out and about selling with their carts, and of course, with the coronavirus and everything being shut down, everyone being out. But even afterwards, once they started doing like the whole food orders and stuff, but they were talking about the street vendors and how they had to have certain paperwork for their vendors. And to me, when you think about it, I mean, I can understand if it was like a parking permit type thing, because if they're occupying like street space or whatever, I mean, I guess you could have like a permit for that, especially like designated areas, so forth. But again, that could also be stemmed on a personal attack to these people, because if there's a white business owner, sorry to pick on the white guys, but if there's a white business owner at the corner shop over there, but you have a Hispanic, Latino, American over on the corner with their street cart, well, the majority of the time they're gonna go and attack that person because they're taking away business from another person. Again, that's just business competition typically. But the way I'm not, I didn't mean to put that example out there, but that was just the example that I read in the article. So forgive me. But that is essentially what they're saying, is that it was a personal attack on these people to help better specific businesses over others. And then of course there's also more talk about, what's the words I'm trying to gather for you guys? Oh, that the shutdown essentially itself was a huge government move to impact certain businesses. I mean, again, I think I mentioned it in an episode before, but you look at like Amazon, Walmart, these big names and these big chains, right? They did not get hurt. Not a single cent was taken from their pocket. Maybe their stock, maybe a little bit of this went down or whatever, but essentially they're still thriving. While a lot of independent business owners, independent gym owners, so on, I can literally keep going, are hurting still. So a lot of people look at it as like a takedown of competition, which to me is insane. And I think it's super unjust, but I won't get into that too much. Another crazy thing, France, just because I love you guys, I was reading a lot of like your guys' current events and like, the world events. You guys have a lot of knife attacks. In January and April, I read that you guys experienced knife attacks, and a lot of people, not, a handful of people died. But one in January was in Paris, and then in April, you guys had knife attacks out in southeast France. I forget the actual city name. I thought I wrote it down, but I apologize. But no, you guys have a lot of actions going on right there, which is, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry to hear about the people died. Policemen died on the second attack. You guys have had a rough year. You also have a government issue as well. So I read, I believe it was in January or February. I thought I put this down as well, but apparently there was a protest. People stormed a theater to not attack, but protest the politician that was there. Again, you guys can check this out. For those of you who are, in France, you guys lived it, so I don't really think you need to relive it. But for those of you who are listening in outside, give it a check. Let's see. Locusts swarmed India, because, what other biblical catastrophes would we want to experience in the year? Yeah, so locusts apparently were swarming India, destroying many crops, so there goes their food, especially at such a great time, when the world shuts down. France, I'm going back to you guys. You guys just had a shitty year just as much as everybody else did. Your guys' cathedral caught on fire. Come on now, what what is happening out in Paris and France? You guys definitely, hopefully you guys get a good 2021, because I mean, everyone's in need, but you guys from what I've read, have had a rough year. Now, that was the bad, right? So we're going to go ahead and talk about the ugly. Besides the coronavirus still wreaking havoc across the world, something funny that I was reading was Facebook, right? I only use Facebook for the need of connecting with my family and then my friends, the same reason everyone uses Facebook. And occasionally I buy from people off Marketplace. Craigslist, though, you still OG in my heart, and I will use you till the day I die. I want to talk about Craigslist one day. Another day, another day. But anyways, Facebook, right? They are being tried for illegal competition crushing, which I think they deserve because obviously Mark Zuckerberg needs to chill. He's definitely taken over way too much, and he's trying to do way too much. I feel like he's got his hands in too many cookie jars, and we just need to slap that and no more dessert for homeboy. But he recently bought out like WhatsApp and Instagram, and he freaking tried to create his own currency a few years ago, but that failed in trial. Thank God. What else? He bought out Oculus, the people who do the VR headsets. Facebook, they're killing the game. Don't get me wrong. However, they're turning into the game, and that's one of the reasons why they are doing this. They're trying him because he's literally trying to crush the competition and allow no other competition. So I believe, if I read correctly, they're trying to overturn that and essentially just keep him grounded at Facebook, which I think is fair because I feel that with the power that he has in regards to our social, like our words, how we speak, propaganda, who we support, and so on. Like, don't get me wrong, I know there was a lot of censorship during the election with like Trump, and I believe it. Like, I really do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Trump, he said some things, but I feel that they've really taken their power of censorship to a all-time high. So I'm happy to see that they're finally doing something against him. All of Facebook, even though we all have it, I know it's still evil. I say we go back to MySpace. I'm still on MySpace, by the way. So if you guys want to follow me on MySpace, you can totally do so. Now, another thing that's super ugly, I didn't know this, but Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy due to allegations of sexual assault. I'm going to share with you guys a little snippet of my past. I always wanted to be a Boy Scout. My friends were Boy Scouts. I wanted to be a Boy Scout so bad. Just because they did some cool stuff, trips, camping, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to do it. My mom, if any of you guys are listening and you're an Eagle Scout or a Boy Scout, I'm not talking down upon you. I'm just, it's just the way the world works and the things your parents say and so forth. But my mom used to tell me, she's like, you're not going to join the Boy Scouts. I'm like, why not? I was like, my friends are doing it. But like, I don't care about your friends. I'm telling you, you're not going to Boy Scouts. I was like, give me one reason why. And, I tried this for years. From all of my life is elementary school. And, at a certain point, you're just not going to join a Boy Scout. You're like a teenager. You're like, I'm a man. I'm not going to join a Boy Scout. So my mom always used to be like, you can't join Boy Scouts because you're going to get sexually molested. And I was like, ew, dude. I was like, why would you think of stuff like that? And it's funny because, like, I had my friends, their parents were like the heads of our Boy Scouts. So I'm like, obviously, I trust them. Like, what the hell are they going to do to me? But she's always like, I don't care who it is. Be like, my son's not getting molested. This whole thing goes down. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, people did get molested. So I literally had a little, I said, it's not funny. It isn't funny. I mean, I laughed in my case because my mom said that I was going to get molested. There's always a joke that I would get molested. They still think I'm a grown man. They think I'm still going to get molested somehow. Regardless, I'm going off too much banter. But yes, bankrupt, sexual assault, super insane, horrible news. I apologize. I hope, Boy Scouts, they're able to salvage something, but until then, it is what it is. Can we all talk about how easy it is for Kim Jong-un to fake his death and then come back to life? Like, I think that one was like a huge surprise. I'm sure it was like I have a good reference, but you guys won't understand it. So I'm just not going to go ahead and say it. But no, yeah. So I was reading about this, and obviously we heard about it. It was a huge thing in the news. A lot of people were like, charged for like treason or celebration because he died. And then they said that he went under a proposed heart surgery, and it was reported that he died, but of course, well, homeboy was back to life like a freaking walking talking happy meal. And Kim Jong-un, I guess you're still with us and you're still going strong. But then shortly after, he launched another missile. So that man loves fireworks. So I don't know if that missile was like a celebration because he just he's like, I fucked with you guys. I'm not dead. Let's, do some fireworks. So that dude needs to chill a bit. But again, I don't know the full story to that one. This is it's kind of like a gossip column at the time being. I'm not too 100% on a lot of these things. I am on pretty much everything I was talking about, like country-wise, government, all that was legit. Kim Jong-un, not 100%. that one's all just speculation. But still, he faked his death. I got to give him props for that one. Another fun one. Now, this one hits close to home. So Israel, aka the occupying force on the beautiful country of Palestine, is still in power. What else? Oh, they're currently trying to overthrow their government right now this year. So I thought that was an interesting thing. Obviously, their prime minister, who shall not be mentioned because he's a wiener, is still in power. And he's been in power for God knows how long. And obviously, they're fighting back. So I'm happy to see that people there are also trying to fight the corruption that goes on within their government. But at the same time, I think we all need to look at it as a whole and see the corruption that they have against everyone's government, such as the Palestinian peoples, because they're literally occupying land still to this day. And don't get me started on the whole transition of Jerusalem being the capital of blah, 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 because it's obviously the capital of Palestine. For my listener in Palestine, you know where it's at, my man. But that's just that one. That's a big tidbit there. Bad, bad, bad Israel. And of course, some other good stuff, like Harvey Weinstein, homeboy was found guilty tried for sexual assault and stuff like that. So that was a good thing. The ugly part is the fact that it happened and so many people were victims of it. Good thing is that the homeboy went to jail. And then, of course, the last ugly that I have on the list. So, can we just talk about Jeffrey Epstein real quick? He did not kill himself. Definitely was killed. But no, that was on there. And I didn't really want to put it up there. But I found it really funny that a lot of the stuff that they had, current event wise, was a lot of like publicity and like movie stars. And the only reason why I put Jeffrey Epstein and I even mentioned Harvey Weinstein was because of the fact that Hollywood itself, whether it be like movies, music, stuff like that, had a lot of praise this year because, well, there wasn't much going on. But for the stuff that was going on, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that people, I guess not refuse, but they didn't put out in the media because they chose to put unnecessary work and detail to our ears, to our minds, to our eyes, and essentially block out everything else going on in the world. Which, fun fact, I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all, but I have a friend, she was actually on the show with me last episode, the kissing babies one. She's a huge conspirator. She believes that the whole Jeffrey Epstein case was, or I'm sorry, the shutdown was a huge cover up for the Jeffrey Epstein case because of all the actors and Hollywood people who were involved. So, for those of my conspirators out there, there's something if you haven't already. And I mean, what she told me and the stuff she says had some sense to it. There was some logic, and I couldn't like dodge that. Also, I'd have to do some more research on my own, but it was some sound stuff, guys. I'm telling you, it's very possible. Not to mention all the names that were involved, which super creepy, super scary. All that aside, back to my main point at hand. It sucks that to hear that Hollywood and like albums dropping, and I mean, shout out to the dude who made Parasite because he was like South Korean who got an award. I thought that was super cool. But again, stuff like that getting in the media out at a time that is crucial, like what's going on today. Now, we looked at the bad, we looked at the ugly. Let's talk about some goods, right? I feel like we need some goods amongst the world. For those of you who are happy about our new president, again, congrats. If you are not, I'm sorry. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be ugly for you. Just depends on who you are. That's why I didn't put that on, but I want to use that as a reference point. But some good things that happened this year. So Palau, right? It's an island near Guam in the Philippines. They block toxic sunscreen, which is super nice, protecting the coral reefs out there. So if you guys ever want to, once quarantine and the world is back to normal, you want to go, snorkeling or scuba diving, go out to Palau. Don't wear any toxic sunscreen though, because they won't let you in. They won't let you bring it. Go check out the coral reefs. Go see the fishies. Everyone needs some beautiful, colors and sea life in their lives. Taiwan, they reelected their president for a second term. She was a happy looking lady. I didn't read too much about her, but I mean, 57% of the vote. Sounds like they had a good election year. Shout out to Taiwan. Greece. This is a big one. Greece had elected their first female president. For those of you in Greece, I'm happy to see that you guys are moving on up in the world, and that doesn't matter if you're a male or a female, you are qualified to do such a wonderful job. So congratulations to you, young lady. Cleveland Indians will no longer be the Cleveland Indians. And I'm glad to hear that they're changing their name. Curious to know what they're changing their name to. But in a time today where cultural relevance is really huge, I'm happy to see that people are becoming more aware and more in tune to the the issues of proper identification. And Cleveland Indians, they've had that name for ages. So it's nice to see that they're finally changed, especially, I'm from Ohio. I'm an Ohioan, so I got to represent for my people. I'm sure a lot of Ohio people are pissed about it because, sorry guys, but you guys are kind of stingy and racist. But, overall, I'm glad. I'm happy to see that things are changing and that you guys are moving in the right direction. I hope not too many people are pissed about it. Another good thing that I really liked was, Sesame Street, for Sesame Street still being around, they did episodes on a lot of the issues going on today, especially with like refugees and the importance of taking in refugees and accepting refugees. And again, in a time like today, it's definitely something that I feel like we should acknowledge and we have to be more aware of, because for people seeking refuge and seeking help, because in a time like today, like I said, there was a lot of headlines talking about people trying to escape because of the lockdown. And certain locations, they don't have the resources to sustain their lives. They don't have the tools to continue living, so they literally tried to leave, and a lot of people died. A lot of people were able to get out and so on, but as a whole, nobody was taking people in. One, because of the virus, which it's understandable, but at the same time, you would think that there was alternate methods that you could do or to try to put in place and take these people in. Aside from the virus, though, it's also something that has been happening for years. I mean, the whole entire Trump presidency was a huge thing. Now, of course, there's a lot of info on that I can get into, because it gets really nitty gritty when it comes to you're talking about immigration and emigration. But that's just something that we need to keep an eye out and be more open to. For those of you who are against it, or for those of you who are pro it, it's definitely something that we should acknowledge a little further. That essentially is going to be the wrap up of the year, because there wasn't a lot going on. We were locked up, so it's kind of hard to really have current events when there weren't any events. Olympics got canceled, sporting events got canceled, everything was canceled. Life was canceled. 2020 was canceled. So even though everything was put on hold, I'm really hoping that new things come for this year. If you get the the vaccine that they're making, well, good luck. I will not be one of those people, because I feel like it was very rushed. And I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Conversation for another time, and I don't want you guys to attack. That was our current events for the year. Now we're gonna go ahead, stop, take a little break. I'm thirsty. I need to drink some tea. My throat's feeling it. And we're gonna go ahead and transition to topic 2. It is obvious that for the New Year's, the trend that is going to begin are New Year's resolutions, which is what our second topic brings us to: New Year's resolutions. New Year's resolutions I always find really interesting because, one, no one really ever sticks to their New Year's resolutions. And I feel like that's an issue. And that's the reason why I'm talking about it today with you guys. Because New Year's resolutions is a time for change. You want to shed your skin, you want to, like a snake, and come out looking fresh and crispy this new year. And I mean, I love that. I think it's great. I'm happy that we all want to improve ourselves and strive to be better. But the issue that lies in a resolution is the fact that you do it strictly year after year. You do a few, one or two changes, maybe three, and you set a goal to lose a lot of weight, which we never do. And that's the year. That is life, right? Good. Great to have, goals and aspirations, but why settle? This is why New Year's resolutions, I always feel like, puts a limit on our lives. And a limit, not like, maybe I should rephrase that, but it essentially grounds us in a cage. If you're going to start off saying, if you have a resolution, you're like, I want to get skinny. I'm going to I want to be more active. I want to do this. I want to be more involved. But, the rest of my life is still shitty. Then why set a, I mean, yeah, okay, I guess. I'm not going to tell you not to make those kind of resolutions. But don't you feel that we should transition our mindset to new goals instead of resolutions? Once you do a resolution, you essentially say you're done, right? A goal is something that's long term, something that's ongoing. You reach one goal, you try to strive to surpass that goal. New Year's resolutions are kind of like a hit it and quit it kind of thing. horrible way to reference it, but a great analogy when you think about it. It's true though. A resolution is a hit it or quit it compared to setting goals for yourself. So why do we constantly set ourselves up for failure and setting resolutions that are kind of like out of the picture and limit ourselves to goals that are here and now and definitely more possible? Like a goal for me is to increase my notoriety on Tea Time with Aladdin, to drink more tea. I already drink a lot of tea, so I actually went to the dentist. They told me I need to limit my tea consumption because they're starting to see some staining. These bastards. Times hurt, guys. We're in dark times. But aside from that, these are things that we need to like change our mindset to. Instead of doing like a quick fix, let's do something long term and focus on that and construct on it as we go along, where it stays a goal and it's not just a yearly thing. Oh, I'm going to try to be good today. I'm going to try to stop swearing today. I'm going to try to stop doing this. I'm going to try to stop doing that. Stop trying and actually do it. Set up methods for you, whether it be setting up establishing a routine, whether it be joining a group. And I've already started seeing all the different people who are signing up for their weight challenges and their competitions and so on. And I'm just like, good God, I'm already sick of it. It's funny. I was driving the other day. Where did I go? I went to Sam's Club because I was buying my car battery last night. And my little sister was with me. And as we're driving down the street, all you seen were parking lots, drive-thrus of fast food, literally packed. Tomorrow, those lines are going to be empty. So one of the things that I love is my sister was like, everyone's getting their fast food binge. We're like, why are they even getting this food? Like, it's not even good. And next thing you know, you're like, it's New Year's. Everyone's trying to get their last meal in before the year ends because afterwards they're going to a gym. This might be the first year though that we don't see a huge increase of gym memberships or people at the gyms because of coronavirus. However, if you're one of those people and you're ballsy and you want to risk it for the biscuit and you want to go to the gym, I recently just put my gym membership on hold because obviously I wasn't going and I can work out at home, easily just run, push-ups, sit-ups. There's so many ways you could just work out at home. And I feel like there's going to be a higher increase of working out at home because of the whole fear of germs. Shit, I mean, I kind of am. Just because you never know. People have germs. No, people don't wash their hands, man. People are nasty. If there's a goal that people should, adopt into their life, it's washing their hands. I think that's a goal that everyone needs to work on. That would help stop the spread of disease pretty nicely. But enough of that. But yeah, resolutions. I always have this conversation. We actually had this conversation when I was an undergrad with one of my professors. But we set these goals for ourselves. And usually resolutions are like some out of proportion goals or ideologies because they're not truly goals. It's just a situational perspective of how you're currently living and you'd like to make a slight adaptation to it. But the moment you've hit it, you're just like, oh, okay, I can go back to doing whatever the hell I was doing. It really, I guess the wording and the way we interpret it and the way we accept it and the words into our life and how we interpret it is how it makes us react differently. So, we're raised having long-term goals, short-term goals. And once you reach those goals, you try to surpass more goals. You create more goals. A resolution is like you reach that point and you're done. You've finally made what you set out to do, and there's no more improving after this. And eventually, people end up going back to what they, their original resolution was trying to overcome. I feel like we should all think about that from here on out and adapt the way we look at setting resolutions for ourselves. Like me personally, my health is always a long-term goal. I gain, I lose weight like it's nobody's business. It's literally a hardest situation. I have recently stepped on a scale for the first time since I got, I lied. Like since I got back home, that's better. For last week? Boy, have I done some damage during this quarantine, and finals definitely effed me up. I'm getting healthy because I need to get healthy, not because of a New Year's resolution. And that's something that we should all keep in consideration, Now, this one is a short one. I just want to go ahead and ask you guys for our poll question of the day. Do you guys feel that setting a resolution is good? Do you feel like it's beneficial to your life? Do you guys feel that setting a New Year's resolution is a goal to you, should be taken as one? Or do you guys feel like a resolution is just like a hit it and quit it kind of thing? Let me know what you guys think. And we're going to go ahead and move to our last topic of the day. Now, with everything going on, unfortunately, like I said, the year has been a shitty one, and hopefully we can capitalize on it in this upcoming year. But, 2021, it's a fresh start. It's time for everyone to breathe, break out their sea legs, and try to start walking again, because it's like riding a bike. You don't ride a bike for a long time, but you get back on that bike and you keep on riding. So hopefully 2021 is us getting back on the bike after a long, long winter of no riding. Now, one of the things that I really wanted to talk about. It's not really much I could talk about. It's just something that for us to consider. This is more of like a thought than it is like an actual conversation. Well, it's more of a conversation than it is for me trying to like talk some nonsense into your lives. But 2021 is an opportunity to move forward and bring change to our lives, whether it be improving your health, whether it be getting out more, or whether it be going on a date where you're wearing a mask and you're socially distancing at the same time. Regardless of what you're doing for 2021, it is important to look at it as a new opportunity because, yes, a lot of people have died this year, rest in peace to all those who have passed, whether it be famous, family, close to you, so forth. Anyone who got sick, anyone who's recovering still. There's literally a mass of nonsense that we are all trying to recover from. Whether it be, again, in your home states, your countries, politically wise. I hope everyone does a good job or takes an effort to truly improve their state of well-being, whether it be their state of well-being, their country state of well-being, your friends, your families. It is definitely a time for us to really bring change. And with all the protests that went on, everything that's been happening, I feel like now is a great transition. Now is the time for us to really turn things around. Things to look forward to in the new year. I mean, again, if you're looking forward to a new presidency, a new term of what's to come, then look forward to that. Be excited and bring the force and the power that you want to bring the change. Everyone has the power to change. It's just a matter of how you go ahead and take that initiative. I think this is the year of initiative. I feel like this is the time for us to still be respectful of the rules and regulations that are being put forth. Granted, I hate wearing a mask just as much as the next person. Tongue tested. But you really have to take that into consideration because this is now where I hope our voices can start to be heard a little bit more. I hope this is a point in time where we can really focus on ourselves, try to get back out there, try to have some social interaction, just really try to bring life back into our world because obviously we've literally neglected a whole year of life. Going out, parties, and so forth. I think it's time for us to be cautious and considerable to all the different things that are taking place, and then just being able to take back what was ours because you can limit yourself to how much fun you can have, or I should say limit yourself to the amount of like exposure you have to the outside world. And I mean, a lot of it we can't have control over because the government shuts us down half the time. If you have an opportunity to go out and do something, travel, then go travel. If you have an opportunity to go see your family, go see your family because you don't know how much longer they're going to be here for. And especially with all the people getting sick, you take time and go see your family. What else can you do? Oh, get a cat. I feel like everybody needs a cat in their life. Go ahead and get a cat. Start a new hobby. Go on a date. Because, that dating has been a dry season all year. No one's getting married this year. Oh, yeah, that could have been something to put in the ugly category. Nobody got married. Well, some people got married. A lot of people got sick as they got married. Sorry, but you guys are impatient and shit happens. But no, all the things that we should all take into consideration because with new year comes new beginnings, and I think it is a great time. If you haven't had champagne, have champagne. Tonight we're popping champagne. Not really. Not really. My mom's right behind me.
I'm popping champagne.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. Mother, you have any words of wisdom for New Year's?
Just to stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody. And other than that, that concludes our New Year's episode. Thank you again for listening to my nonsense for whatever, what feels like a year, but it's only been a couple of months. And I hope you guys have a great time. I'm going to go ahead and get dressed because I'm, partially naked right now. And I have family coming over. So I have to protect myself. But no, honestly, it's been a great year. I lied. What the hell am I saying? It has been a bad year. It has been an interesting year, right? So I really just want everybody to just take some time and reflect your lives. I want everyone to, because this episode, I can't really tell you guys how to live. This is me just trying to say that we have room for improvement and we can always better ourselves. And there's a lot of things that we can look forward to if we choose to look forward to it. So I hope you guys all really turn this negative ball of energy, this negativity from all angles of the world, and create something positive with it. Because my personal motto is positivity can fix everything. Happiness can fix everything. So even if you're the most pessimistic person, try to be positive about it. And it literally will change the world. Good luck to you all. Have a great new year. Keep dancing. Dance as if you're dancing naked in the middle of the street. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and stop it there. I just want to go ahead and give one big shout out to everyone who listens to this. And most importantly, as always, to the music. Because not only is the music section coming up next, but I want to also give a huge shout out to the one and only Alan Gogol for constantly letting me use his music throughout every episode. I will be changing Alan Gogol from here on out, so I will miss you, Alan. I'm going to stop there. So sit back, relax, prep those ears for the magic that I will be bestowing upon them. So let me go ahead and introduce to you guys the last song of 2020 on TeaTime with Aladdin. Now, I am going to let you guys know that setting the bar at this point just gets harder and it just keeps getting higher because the music performance or the music providers that I'm going to be giving you guys is just going to keep getting better and better. Just like the song that I'm going to present to you guys today. I've actually been holding on to this one for a really long time because it's an artist that I actually truly appreciate. I mean, I appreciate all the artists, but with the way the episode is going and the way the year has been, I chose this artist and I chose this song to end the year, to end the show, because we just want something a little bit better, right? And we need that pick-me-up. We need to end everything on a really strong, happy note. Positive vibes all around, So I'm going to go ahead and present to you David Davis. Now, David Davis, he is a Chicago native. He was born in Chicago. So to all of my Illinois people who are listening, you finally get somebody outside of New York people. You got Chicago native. He actually went to school at Belmont University. He lived in Tennessee, and on top of that, I believe he's now in LA. I think he's there, but I could be wrong. I don't know his life like that. But aside from his upbringing, David Davis has been in music for as long as he's been breathing, essentially. I know that he started doing work as, he started playing strings, that he was playing the violin when he was like 3 years old. And he's been, he played up until he was a kid. Then he started getting involved in his church group, or his church, doing music. He's played the piano, and essentially his music talents has just soared greatly from there. He can be seen on Songland. He sang a song on Songland, which I didn't know until I watched the video not too long ago. And amazing performance, and David Davis himself just brings this presence to him that is just amazing. His voice is phenomenal. Like, I'm telling you, fanboy moment of the hour is David Davis's voice is phenomenal. And when you hear his voice, he gives us the sound of like old town Motown. And I mean, people say that he has this Motown-esqueness to him. He has that like smooth, he has the potential for smooth jazz. He even just has like this peppy pop sound to him, and just everything about him just brings this amazing energy. And the song that I'm playing for you guys today is called Little Mo Better, and when you hear it, you see everything that I'm trying to talk about, and you see the way he if you watch the video, it's actually a really good video. And Little Mo Betta is actually on his album, The Long and Short of It. Great album. It is amazing. And if you listen to any single one of his singles, his actually most recent single, well, it depends, because there's Ocean, which came out in September of 2020, and then you also have his Christmas like couple singles, which, look, Christmas season, we all know the music isn't going to die anytime soon. So go ahead and hop yourselves onto Hope for the Holidays by David Davis, which came out in October. So technically October was his last songs released. Doesn't matter what song you're listening to, his music is amazing. It just makes you happy. It makes you feel good. That's what we need right now. We need to end 2020 on a feel good moment. I couldn't think of a better person for you guys to listen to. So I'm going to go ahead, shut up, let you guys listen to Little Mo Betta, and I hope that it makes you feel a little more better. Enjoy.
I don't have the numbers, you don't have the names. We're just putting notches in the bedpost all the same. They don't got the magic, they ain't the ones to blame. You don't let them hold you, cause my handprint's on your waist. So darling, when he ain't appealing, and you can't hide your feelings, oh, I'll be right where you left me, with something a little more beta, something a little more beta, something a little more beta, something a little more, something a little more beta, something a little more. I won't ask no questions, you won't start a fight. And we just need a body for the night. Say it's just the weekend, back to pick your lights. It ain't picture perfect if I'm staying on your mind. So darling, when he ain't appealing, and you can't hide your feelings, oh, I'll be right where you left me, with something a little more beta, something a little more beta. Something a little more beta, something a little more, something a little more beta, something a little more, something a little more beta, something a little more, something a little more beta, something a little more. Ooh, yeah. I'll settle for something. It's better than nothing. When you're needing my loving, come get to that something. So darling, when he ain't appealing.
If that didn't make you want to get up and just start dancing like a mad person, then there's something wrong with you. Because that song is just incredible. And David Davis, he's performed. Like, he's no novice to performance. And when you see him, he just has this like eloquence to him. He has this style to him. Everything about him just, I can't even like, I'm having like a moment. I need to like collect myself. Look, I appreciate David Davis and I admire his work and I admire everything that he brings to us and he offers to the table. His voice, his attitude, his persona, everything that he does just embodies greatness. And I might be jumping the gun a bit, but it's, you know, to me and how I envision music and how it should be performed and the way people interact with it, I think he does a great job with it. And one of the things that I actually listened, that I love that he said in an interview, especially with the way the world has been today and the way music is, especially with like, you know, Corona, the pandemic, he said that music, everything that they do now is for us. Because in a time like this where we're alone or, you know, we have these feelings that, you know, we might not appreciate at the time, he creates music, or as he even states that all musicians create music for us so we can connect, so we can relate, so we can feel better about something. I think this song, as well as all of his music, is something that helps us feel better, something that allows us to connect to. But that's not just with David Davis. That's with every artist that I have played with, or that I have played on the show. they have all given us something to connect with, something to appreciate, and something to admire in a time like this. And that's why I feel like it's very important to have music incorporated in the show as well as incorporated into our life. Because music isn't just music that they write and that they provide for us. There's music all around us, whether it's from the animals, whether it's from nature, whether it's from our own bodies. Music is everywhere and we have to appreciate it and accept it as such. With that said, I want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to David. Thank you so much for letting me play your music on the show. I really do hope somewhere down the road I get to have you actually on the show and play more of your stuff, because I know this isn't going to be the last of your music career. It's literally just going to keep growing because you're literally amazing. Again, sorry for, going gaga for you, but it's true. Your music is phenomenal and I appreciate it so much, and I appreciate you again for letting me use it. I hope you have a great new year, as well as everybody else. Thank you so much for being here with me, being on the show with me for the remainder that I've been going for. I want to thank you all for listening to the music, sharing your opinions, conversating with me, and just being a part of Tea Time with Aladdin. I know I couldn't have done it without you, and I hope that everyone's years ends on a good note, because I want everyone to take everything that's happened this year and turn it into something better. Just like David said, little mo better, baby. I want you guys to make this your year. I want everybody to forget the negative aspects of everything. I want you guys to forget about the pandemic. I want you guys to just take everything that you know, and I want you guys to make whatever you can do to make 2021 the year. It's going to take some time, but I just want everyone to go in it with a positive attitude, positive mindsets, set those goals for yourselves, go into it with a smile. Keep fighting, guys. We can do this. Everything will get better. I know it will. And hopefully by this year sometime, we'll be able to go to a concert and see David Davis perform, because I'm itching. I'm very itching. But thank you all for joining me on this journey. Please continue to share the show with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your exes, your pets, your reflection. If you're still talking to yourself, I know I am. I'm literally talking to myself as we speak, as much as I'm talking to you guys, but you know what I'm saying. But again, thank you for joining me on this journey. It's been a wonderful pleasure. And don't think I'm literally going to be getting into the show again very soon. You guys should be getting a new episode from me sometime next Sunday. Hopefully you guys will have a consistent schedule from me this year, knock on wood. And honestly, I'm going to get ready to party with the fam. So I hope you guys all stay safe tonight. Take care of yourselves. Love one another. Be kind to one another. And have a wonderful new year. Take care. Rest easy. Don't party too late. And if you do, make it worth it. Good night. Have fun. Love you guys. Peace and love. Aladdin out.